African free from subjugation, free from exploitation, self-serving education to self-actualization, total liberation, total emancipation. We're not powerless, enkindling our consciousness. For our sake, we ancestors, the future, remember. We're not powerless, enkindling our consciousness.
Well then, I grade. We need ya, hey. I need some herb in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. I need some meditation in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain. Hey, no, this could never be no man killer. Good for my head, so me call it as the man healer. When me ill, you know me never need a painkiller. It's quite exciting, me call it as the man chiller. Give me good man, so me no think illa. What a inspiration, fit on a sound killer. Fit the pagan, me spark it like a 9 miller. Fi fight the liquor and the coke, ganja and the pillar. That's why me need some herb in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and
Dancers rehearsing for the upcoming Emancipation Day celebration in Bridgetown, Barbados. Like other remnants of its colonial past, the island's Cropover Festival has its origins on the sugarcane plantations during the days of the transatlantic slave trade. Educators like Sophia Graves say the holiday doesn't seek to erase the past, but rather flip the script, turning the date into a celebration of cultural heritage.
So when we perform our landship, which is one of our traditional dances in our maypole, we are also celebrating a lot of the traditions that even were brought here by the persons who had enslaved us, but we would have transformed them into movements that we would have made for our celebration and also to appreciate, despite the challenges, we can say our people had a sense of resilience and they can take a lot and transform it into something beautiful.
It was only in 2021 that Barbados became a republic, and in many ways the fledgling democracy is still shaping its identity.
Though Barbados has yet to recover after centuries of slavery, it's a nation that's not only reclaimed the narrative over its history, but that's emerged as a global leader in reparative justice.
This year, Barbados hosted a first-of-its-kind international summit on reparations for slavery, paving the way for other former colonies and the descendants of enslaved persons to demand reparations from European countries before international courts. As Barbados looks toward a brighter future, its strength as a society, founded on the horrors of the slave trade, now builds on a strong sense of remembrance and cultural pride. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Bridgetown, Barbados.
"189 years after the British Parliament passed the Abolition Act in 1833 and 185 years after slavery was finally abolished in 1838, Guyana prepares yet again to celebrate Emancipation Day. One of the most significant observances in the country's history, Emancipation Day is celebrated on August 1 every year. On this day, Guyanese celebrate the invaluable contribution of our forefathers by dressing in traditional African wares and jewelries like dashikis, wraps, and head ties, beaded chains, arms and leg bands, and large earrings. Participating or witnessing stage performance such as traditional dances, music, and African drumming is also cultural. Guyanese also enjoy Creole foods, metemgee, coca rice, fufu, and kanki. Exhibitions are common on this day to showcase various aspects of African culture.
Greetings again, brothers and sisters and cousins in the other races that support our struggle for economic equality with the other races. This segment is about the Industrial Revolution started in Britain, and the title of the article that I am narrating is Industrial Revolution Iron Method was taken from Jamaica by Britain. Wrought iron process that drove UK success was appropriated from black metallurgists. The reference is The Guardian on Wednesday, the 5th of July, 2023. And the article is written by Hannah Devlin, science correspondent. I am narrating the slide that you are seeing mainly for the benefit of people who are watching the video on their cell phones, and the text would be too small for you to read. The article begins. An innovation that propelled Britain to become the world's leading iron exporter during the Industrial Revolution was appropriated from an 18th century Jamaican foundry, historical records suggest. The quart process, which allowed wrought iron to be mass-produced from scrap iron for the first time, has long been attributed to the British financier turned iron master Henry Quart. It helped launch Britain as an economic superpower and transformed the face of the country with iron palaces including Crystal Palace, Kew Gardens, Temperate House, and the arches of St. Pancras train station. Now an analysis of correspondence shipping records and contemporary newspaper report reveals the innovation was first developed by 76 black Jamaican metallurgists at an ironworks near Morant Bay in Jamaica. Many of these metal workers were enslaved people trafficked from West and Central Africa, which had thriving iron-making industries at that time. Dr. Jenny Bulstrode, a lecturer in History of Science and Technology at University College, London, and author of the paper, said, "This innovation kicks off Britain as a major iron producer and was one of the most important innovations in the making of the modern world." Henry Quart acquired the machinery from the Jamaican foundry, shipped it to England, and patented the technique. The technique was patented by Quart in the 1780s and is widely credited as the inventor, with the Times lauding him as father of the iron trade after his death. The latest research presents a different narrative, suggesting Quart shipped his machinery and the fully fledged innovation to Portsmouth from a Jamaican foundry that was forcibly shut down. The Jamaican Ironworks was owned by a white enslaver, John Reeder, who in correspondence described himself as quite ignorant of iron manufacturing, noting that the 76 black metallurgists who ran the foundry were perfect in every branch of the iron manufacturing, and through their skills could turn scrap and poor quality metal into valuable wrought iron.
practicing still, we're practicing.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
Hundreds of people flocked to the Spanish Town railway station in St. Catherine this morning in great anticipation of a train excursion as part of the Emancipation Day celebration. But many were left disappointed. Our reporter Sandy Williams was there and filed this report.
It's the first train excursion on a public holiday in Jamaica and the first train ride ever for many Jamaicans. More than 400 people, including children, came out for the experience.
Well, the standard seat for these coaches like 80 per seat, per coach. And we have 6 coaches, so we could accommodate 6, 8, 48, 480 persons, barring a few missing seats. So for this train, we have sold at least 460 tickets.
But there's a process. People who've purchased a ticket would come to the Spanish Town railway station to collect an armband before entering the train. Now the armband will ensure that they can gain access from Linstead back to Spanish Town. But as you can see behind me, there's a long line of people who've not yet purchased a ticket, only to be disappointed because the tickets are simply sold out.
When I heard it was late, so I rushed to come down here to even just get a ticket. We come to about 15, 16, 17, about 18 tickets, yes, because it's a lot of us. We hear that the tickets are sold out and we still come all the way over here just to find out if we still can get a ticket, and we get left.
After about an hour, the train has arrived at Linstead railway station, where passengers disembark to get refreshments and to be entertained. Now, despite the numerous windows on each side of each coaches, there is one common concern: the punishing heat on the train.
It feels like bringing you back a little bit to the past, right? I like that people are standing outside on the road, waving their hands, right? Everyone is happy. And then passing through the first tunnel was amazing because everyone was cheering, right? So, yay! Right? It's fantastic. But the air condition is missing, perhaps, but I mean, once you're wet, right?
We just need the train to get a little bit more modernized, keeping with the culture, because the time is hot. We just need a little AC. It's very good, lots of scenery. When we're high above, what is that? What are we going to do? Flat Bridge? High above Flat Bridge, looking down on the greenery in the water. Oh my God, you guys missed something?
Reporting from a train excursion in Linstead, St. Catherine, I'm Sandy Williams for TVJ News.
Very Makwame Ichi the 16th, Your Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addankwa Akufo-Addo, Nana Kojo Kondia, the Paramount Chief of Albina, Honorable Osafu Mafu as Senior Advisor to the President, Honorable Ministers of State here present, Honorable Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, our brothers from the diaspora, distinguished invited guests.
My name is DK Roster. Very happy to be sharing some time with Ayinka Will.
The rare occasion, but of course, as you said, a very glorious morning, because right behind us, the celebrations have begun. We are about to witness what is usually a very moving ceremony, a very moving rendition of, well, visuals that depict our ancestors' journey towards emancipation.
Definitely, we will be having Freedom Morning come, a play by N2 Pearl Springer. Conversation or imagined conversation between enslaved individuals, but we can actually just go to Miss N2 Springer for her to describe it better than we could. So we do that now.
This history is not anywhere in our history books. So I give thanks to all the young people who are in this play. I give thanks to my own ancestors, and I want to say special thanks to my brother Roll Gibbons in the audience here, who played a critical role in helping me develop my own skills as a director and help shape the ending of this play. So I want to thank you, my brother Roll, and I give thanks to all the young people who are here. So it's not to talk, is to let the work live. So I hope, I don't know that is something to enjoy, but I hope it will evoke in us memory, pride, the pain of our ancestors, and help us to do better as African people. Ashe.
Ghana, the nation of the Black Star. We recall today the great Kwame Nkrumah. Let's give him a round of applause. And Kwame was heavily inspired by the work of our brothers and sisters right here in the Caribbean. Directly, of course, by Marcus Garvey, where that Black Star comes from, the Black Star liner. But of course, Marcus Garvey was influenced in the way that he set up his organization and his work by a Trinidadian called Henry Sylvester Williams. Let us remember that brother who organized the first Pan-African conference in 1900, which set the tone for liberation for the 20th century. Henry Sylvester Williams, remember that. We tend to forget. We must remember our ancestors on days like today. This, brothers and sisters, is the 185th anniversary of the end of chattel slavery. And even as we celebrate that step forward in human civilization, that is the end of the right of one person to own another, to do it as ye will until death. We acknowledge that the Emancipation Proclamation, which was read out right here in 1833, was one of the most criminal acts in history. That act acknowledged the right of the former slave masters to have owned our ancestors. And the vast majority of the provisions in that act organized for them to receive compensation rather than us for the loss of our ancestors in property. The official figure paid by the British government, which we all know, £20 million, is only part of the story. Because at emancipation, the powers that be enacted laws, policies, and institutions that incarcerated, deported, indebted, brainwashed, and generally extended the subordination of Africans under white supremacist rule into the foreseeable future. That is the reality of our emancipation. But today, brothers and sisters, we exist at an extraordinary historical moment. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King used to say that the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. And finally, 185 years after emancipation, we could say that the moral consensus around the world is now that we deserve reparations. The moral consensus around the world, and I'll tell you that my father did not believe that we would arrive at this moment in our lifetime, but we have. At the end of last year, the first European leader, Mark Rutte of the Netherlands, came forward and apologized. The first one to apologize. It's the beginning. In January, the Anglican Church acknowledged, in its own words, its shameful links and pledged £100 million. In February, the Trevelyan family, one of the great beneficiaries of enslavement, 104 members of that family signed a note of apology to the people of Grenada, where they owned 6 plantations and 1,000 of our ancestors at emancipation. And 7 of them, including their most prominent family member, the BBC journalist Laura Trevelyan, traveled to Grenada to publicly apologize to the people of Grenada. And Laura Trevelyan took £100,000 out of her own pocket and gave it to the University of the West Indies to pursue development research for the people of the Eastern Caribbean, which is impacted today, which they acknowledge is impacted today by the disgraceful actions of their ancestors.
Across the country, Canadians marked Emancipation Day for the 3rd time since Ottawa voted to make August the 1st a celebration of freedom for enslaved Africans and their descendants. The day also serves as a time to reflect on Canada's rich Black history. SCTV's Creason Ashkate reports.
In Halifax, the Pan-African flag was raised to commemorate Emancipation Day, including an uplifting performance from this young and gifted poet.
It makes me feel empowered to know that I can sing in my language and speak it and connect with others in my language.
The day marks the end of slavery in the British Empire, including Canada in 1834, finally freeing more than 800,000 African people across the colonies and ending more than 4 centuries of enslavement.
We've come a long way.
The lives of the transatlantic slave trade being remembered here at Nova Scotia's Province House.
More than 15 million men, women, and children of African descent were victims.
This Nova Scotia senator says Canada must do more.
One
one of the things that we've been lobbying for a number of years is an official apology.
In Toronto's subway, songs of freedom during this underground freedom train ride. The gathering symbolizing the dangerous and secret underground migration African Americans used to get to Canada in order to be free from slavery.
Those people that escaped America seeking freedom here have now become integral members of a society.
The Prime Minister also in attendance, calling for unity and equality.
Standing up against anti-black racism, against unconscious bias.
And the celebrations don't end here. Multiple cities across the country are planning month-long events to observe Emancipation Day. Chris Nachkate, CTV News, Halifax.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.